Hey guys, it's Ryan here of Ryan Edit Photography. Hope you're all doing well. And today I'm going to show you how you can nail a really good sparkler shot without having an assistant. So, because most of the time, a lot of these sparkler shots that are shot with off-camera flash requires an assistant walking along with the couple so the flash exposure is consistent, but I was able to do it without one, so I'm gonna show you how I pulled it off. But before I get started, please make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff. So I'm going to show you guys my method, how this photo was created, and all the things that were involved in the creation of the image, so you can take better sparkler exit photos. So first thing I'm gonna tell you guys, so when I knew that this image was about to happen, so I already had my lighting set up. What I mean by that is I had two light stands, two flashes, on two light stands that already had a Magmod CTO. So this is the lighting that I had prepared already before this was about to get started. So when they were giving away the sparklers to the people and having them lined up, I was just moving my light stands where I wanted them positioned. All right, so I had light stand number 1 all the way back here. As you can see, the color is blue because I left the flash without any CTO. When I changed the Kelvin in Lightroom, when you bring down the Kelvin to 3200, like kind of tungsten area, because all these lights were kind of like yellowish tungsten. So when you bring that down, natural colored flash would turn bluish. So that's what happened here. So light stand number 1 was back here. And the crazy thing is I told my second shooter that I'm gonna just try TTL with this one. So this was in like TTL. But what I did was in TTL, I had it like -1 exposure. So that way it's not gonna like blow out the scene. So that's one way, because the couple is moving. So you won't have time to adjust it on the fly as they're moving. So I relied on the technology TTL and it delivered. So back to the image, right? So light stand number 1 was back here, no CTO, just a grid. And light stand number 2 was all the way out of the camera frame on a light stand and aiming. It was like up high, like 45 degrees, aiming down to where the couple was. You can see that it had a grid and a sphere, so the lighting was controlled, so it didn't like scatter too much. You can see the lighting was just right on the upper half of the couple, and it kind of like tapers away. As you could see, if it was blasting light all over the place, you would see like this part of the image would be brighter, or it's like as evenly lit. That's why I had the grid and the mag sphere there to kind of just control the spread of the light, so it's not all over the place, which kind of makes it for a more impactful image. So that's the lighting idea behind it. And what the best thing you can do, guys, is before it happens and you know the spot where it's gonna happen, borrow like a guest, or if you have an assistant or a second shooter, have them stand in so you can test the lighting and you could see how it's gonna look. And then when it's good, you just, keep that photo, and you could look back on the exact settings that you set it. So by the time it actually happens, you already dialed it down, right? So more info. So back to the image again. So you know where the lighting was positioned already. So the next thing that happened was, so getting down to dialing the correct exposure. Okay, so let's share the EXIF data. I shot it with a 2470. That was the lens. It was at 2.8 aperture, right? And then that was the shutter speed, 1/100th of a second. So that was the settings. When I dialed the exposure, I underexposed the background. So I underexposed the background so you could reveal these fairy lights, and then dialed in the flash that the correct exposure on the subject, right? So when you get those, when you're underexposing the background and the flash fills the key light, it's gonna freeze them. So you freeze the action of them moving. So it's not gonna be blurry, because if you are underexposing like a dimly lit scenario, at least like a stop or two stops, kind of the most, then when your flash fires, that's gonna freeze the subject. Granted, your shutter speed is in a decent range and not like too slow. So that's how you get like beautiful sparkler images. And then you just pick out the right expression, the best ones. So I picked this one because the bride and groom, they're having fun. It was, and you can even get creative if you could have somebody hold like a sparkler kind of a little bit closer to the front of your lens, so you could have some foreground effect. So that's another thing, you guys can do also. So remember the main light here, flash number 2, that was aimed at them. It had CTO on them just to match it with the background color. So to recap, all you need is preparation before things happen. So that's the number one key. As long as you already predetermined things before the sparkler exits happen, like where you're gonna position your light, you got your exposure dialed down. When it rolls around, all you gotta focus on is your couple. You're not like getting bogged down by your settings and all of that stuff. So that's the key, number one key. And number 2, know your lighting. Yeah, so know your lighting, know how the modifiers are gonna affect the way it looks, and you'll be Gucci, baby. So there you have it. There's some quick tips on how I got this sparkler image and how you can be much more prepared in the sparkler exit kind of photos. And I did it without an assistant. So I just had my light stand already set up on my like camera right, good to go. And then the one like way back, which was like 20 feet, it was positioned low and just aiming straight up. So I did it without an assistant. I know a lot of photographers do it with an assistant on the main light, like holding it and tracking the couple as they're walking towards the camera, so the light is kind of consistent. it's a good thing too, but in the case that you don't have an assistant, or in my case my assistant had to leave for the day, so I was still able to manage to get, you know, an awesome sparkler shot. So I hope you guys learned something in this video. I try to make it quick and as informative as I can. If you could please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, share the video, leave a comment if you know, any of these makes a lot of sense, or you're kind of confused with something. I'll try my best to explain it to you. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out and take care.